higher place. With the wind in my back and a smile upon my face. Oh yeah, I'm living my dream a little more each day, and it keeps getting easier to find my way. So I am rising to a higher place. Say it with me, boy. I can't help it. God makes me wanna sing. I can't help it. God makes me wanna sing. I make me feel so good. I can do most anything, anything. I can't help it. God makes me wanna sing. I can't help it. God makes me wanna sing. I make me feel so good. I can do most anything. I can do anything. I can't help it. God makes me wanna sing. I can't help it. God makes me wanna sing. I make me feel so good. I can do most anything, anything. One more time, baby.
Every day we're born again to create this world we live in. So now let's claim our good and speak our word and release it to the universe. It's a new day. Right here is where we take a stand. It's a new day. Compassion for our fellow man. Right now we're making a difference. Oh, it's a new day. It's a new day. All together, hand in hand. It's a new sing our love across the land. Right here, we're making a difference. Oh, it's a new day. Every day I'm filled with wonder by the glory of the silent thunder unfolding from down under. Satchitananda. Oh, it's a new day. Right here is where we take a stand. It's a new day. Compassion for our fellow man. Right now we're making a difference. Oh, it's a new day. It's a new day. All together, hand
say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 'Cause I'm so grateful. So grateful. Oh, grateful. I'm so grateful. So I want to say thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Now thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. I want to say thank you. Thank you. I want to say thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I want to say thank you. 'Cause I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. So grateful. I'm so grateful. I want to say thank you. Yes, thank you. I want to say thank you. Thank you. 'Cause I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Easter. Welcome to Unity of Metairie. Join us this morning as we come together in the name of love.
Take a look at the person next to you. Say God loves you and I love you too.
Yeah.
Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love.
Go get you a microphone, baby. We want to hear that nice voice. All right. Here we go.
Now look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you.
Come on now.
Feel the love in the sanctuary.
Feel the love in the sanctuary.
Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, from every walk of life, every walk of life, every creed or color, every creed or color. In kinship we unite, in kinship we unite, in honor of the God person next to you.
That's God next to you.
Say namaste, I bow to you.
Come on now.
Feel the love in the sanctuary.
Feel the love in the sanctuary.
Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love.
So y'all take just a moment and say hello to your spiritual family with some hugs and handshakes. Happy Easter, everybody. And welcome everybody watching us on Facebook this morning. Y'all, let's get in that last hug. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy Easter. It's so beautiful. It seems like I always remember Easter being sunny when I was growing up, and it seems like it's that today. So everybody feeling good today? No complaints. There's so much to be grateful for. And so my name is Jack Fowler. I'm the spiritual director here at Unity of Metairie. We welcome you. If you've been here, if it's your first time, or if you've been here all 40 years, we welcome you. We will also welcome everyone watching us online today on Facebook. Hello, everybody give a big hello. Hello. You can't see them, but they're back there sending you some love, and they look all pretty with their little Easter costumes on. So do we have anybody here for the very first time? Very, very first time. All right, awesome. So we have one gentleman here in the back. If we could get him, we're going to have a packet for you that gives you a little bit of information about Unity. Okay, she's being coerced here. So get to Sue. We need one more for the young lady in front. We welcome you guys and thank you for joining us on this Easter Sunday, which is a very special day for all of us. For various reasons, and my talk will be about that and how Unity looks at Easter. Unity, if you're not familiar with it, is a philosophical, beautiful way to live. We are not a religion, thank goodness. Oh, thank God. We need no more religions. We supply you a safe place to express your own unique individual divinity. Whatever your path is, we are there to support you. So, such a wonderful thing to know, and there's no rules. I just love that. We're able to be free and express ourselves. So let's all just take a big old deep breath. Man, I was running around like crazy this morning, and I just want to relax. Let's all becoming centered here and now as best you can. Begin to let go of any plans you may be thinking of this afternoon or anything that happened this week. And let's bring all of our energy here and now to this place. For everything that we need is right here. There are no mistakes in the mind of God, and you are in this moment exactly where you are supposed to be. So we can relax knowing this with gratitude. Excuse me, knowing that underneath all that we see with our eyes, there's this beautiful, loving, magnificent force that is guiding us. So we can just relax and trust. Isn't that cool to know? Go ahead and silence your cell phone if you wouldn't mind, or anything else that might make a noise. So we would like to bring our kids up. We have beautiful Nicole here. Anybody else here? Oh, here comes Sophia. We've got Bear is coming up today. And what are we calling her these days? The little baby one. You just call her Sage? No cute names now like Boobalookie or Little Snooky Pie or just Sage? Okay. Well, of course, the youngest one. Beautiful. Look at these wonderful kids here today. As we do every Sunday, we bless these children and we send love to children all around the world. They don't have to be present here with us to feel our love and to know our love and to remember who they are as divine expressions of life. So say with me, everyone. Children of light, we bless you. We see you loved, guided, and protected by God's presence. And New Orleans style, we love you hard, hard, hard. We swear to God. All righty. They're going to stay out with us here today for our Easter service so they can enjoy everything that we do. And I would always like to mention that we have a wonderful youth program for children of all ages. If you're watching online today and you have children, you're welcome to come visit and to drag your kids along where they learn these life-affirming principles that we learn out here. So once again, as we settle into this moment, feeling gratitude, feeling the love of everyone around us, we listen to these inspiring thoughts from our daily word.
Sunday, April 21st, 2019. Today is Easter, and I am resurrected into the life, the light, and the power of God. The Gospel of Matthew shares that the woman who discovered the empty tomb on Easter morning left the tomb quickly with fear and great joy and ran to tell his disciples. And on the way, Jesus appeared to them, stating, "Tell my brothers to go to Galilee. They will see me there." Charles Fillmore explains, every time we rise to the realization of the eternal, indwelling life, making union with Father Mind, the resurrection of Jesus takes place within us. On Easter Sunday, I rise from the tomb of limitation. I follow Jesus into Galilee, the rich consciousness of vitality that becomes mine when I fully accept my Christ nature. I am resurrected into the life, light, and power of God. Then Jesus said to them, "Do not be afraid. Go and tell my brothers to go to Galilee. There they will see me." Matthew 28:10.
Well, beautiful. Thank you, Tony. I love her reading. I could just listen to her read all day. How beautiful. Because those words that she read are so powerful, and I could tell that she embodied those as she read. So thank you so much. And those words are so true for all of us today. As we come together this morning, symbolically recognizing that we let go, put away all of those false ideas and thoughts about ourselves, and resurrect our mind to a new idea of who we are as beautiful expressions of life. We know that right here, right now, in this moment, we have come together, each of us part of a beautiful tapestry that is God, that is life. Each of us an important part of this life, of this love that we are. Right here, right now, we have come into the presence of God because we are here. And we believe that within each living being, there is this presence. In some, it's hidden and barely seen, and in some, it glows like with Jesus as he showed us. It matters not how much it is seen. Within each living being, there is inherently good. There is a presence of love. There is a presence of life. There is a presence of God. So right here, right now, we bring all of our energy, all of our focus, knowing that all that we need is with us in this moment, as we are grateful to come together this morning. Right here, right now, we have come into the presence of God, and our hearts are open to the love that's found right here, right now, right here, right now. We have come into the presence of God, and our hearts are open to the love that's found right here, right now. And our hearts are open, and our hearts are open to the love that's found right here, right now. So I'd invite you to just relax into this moment. Feel yourself supported by the chair, continuing to let go of any extraneous thoughts or ideas or maybe worries. Just becoming present here in this holy moment. I'd like to invite Tony back up once again to light our Christ candle. This candle burns as a representation of this one light within each of us. As I mentioned earlier, this light was exemplified so brightly by Christ, by the man we call Jesus, by Buddha, by Krishna, Yogananda. These people showed us that within us there's a power greater than anything in this world. And this light burns today as a symbol of this power. This light burns as a symbol of the presence of love that is within each of us, and our choice to put this love into action. It burns as a representation of the one life, one power, one love that is God. So we do recognize that within each of us, this power exists. And sometimes I wonder, why is my life not working? Why aren't things working out exactly like I would like them to? And in those moments, I realize that most of those times I have forgotten to look within and to see this power, which is always there. This presence is always there. We sometimes get distracted by the world and the situations of our life, and the situations in politics, with friendships, with relationships. But as we turn within, we realize there is a space within us where there is only perfect peace. There is a space within us that is completely untouched by everything that has ever happened in this temporary world. For everything that you see will pass away. Even the brightest and oldest stars will one day die. The only thing that is real, the only thing that is eternal, is your true essential self, the spirit of who you are, created in the image and likeness of God. This power is always within you, available, but you have to make the choice to look within, to access it. And so we take a time during our service to move into the stillness, for we've been told by spiritual masters and by Scripture that that is where we find this power. When we turn our thoughts and focus away from the world, we allow ourselves to be quiet and still and just simply listen to that still small voice that's within us. Many of us have personal spiritual practices during the day, and this is one of my favorite because collectively as a community we move into that sacred, vast space within, the space beyond words, the space beyond this world, that space beyond our physical bodies, the truth of who you are. This, your true self, was here before you were born. It is in you in this moment, and it is the only thing you will leave this experience with. It is completely unaltered in this moment, exactly as God created you, in wholeness, in completeness, and in perfection. So I'd invite you to take a moment to allow your body to become still as best you can. If you choose to, put both feet flat on the floor, just becoming comfortable in any position that works for you. And consciously begin to let go of any tension that you may be holding on to in your legs, your abdomen, your chest. Feel your shoulders gently drop. Allow your neck and your forehead to become still. Begin to feel your face soften, becoming still and quiet. And as your body becomes still, begin to consciously pay attention to your breath. Breathing in deeply and watching your breath as it comes into your lungs. And as you exhale, continue to watch it as it leaves your body. Sometimes we can simply watch our breath as a way to move into stillness as a spiritual practice. So if you become distracted during this time, or even uncomfortable, or even irritated, just simply bring your attention back to your breath. Very simple. Watch this life-giving breath as it moves into your body. And then lets go of those things that no longer serve you. Breathing in the breath of God. Breathing in the life of God. Breathing in the light of God. And as your body continues to become still, take a moment and see what thoughts may be there in your mind right now. Maybe some random ideas, some chatter. Realize that you have the choice to allow your mind to unwind and become still and quiet and empty. Begin to notice the space between your thoughts widening. Notice the space as your mind moves into stillness. If any thoughts appear, just simply acknowledge them and let them fall away. Begin to notice this space, this gap between your thoughts and the stillness. For this gap, this space, this is the entryway into your true essential self, into the vastness of who you are, your unlimited nature. This place within you where nothing is impossible. Allow all of those thoughts to simply fall away, allowing yourself to become empty. Empty. Listen to that still, small voice that is always there, waiting in the stillness, in the silence. And from this sacred place of stillness, we are so thankful. Thank you, God, that we know that within us we find God, we find ourselves. Thank you that who we have been created as is completely untouched by anything that has ever happened in this world. Thank you for this grace that covers us, that holds us in the mind of God in perfection, in wholeness. And so with gratitude, we breathe in, knowing that whatever needs to be said today will be said, and whatever needs to be heard will be heard. As we say, thank you, God, and so it is. So good morning once again. I can't decide if it's hot or cold in here. So it's Easter, y'all. I see some bunny ears sticking up. I think it was last year that I wore. Randy, you reminded me that I had some bunny ears last year. Yeah, last year I wore some bunny ears, and my mad dash this morning to get out of the house, I didn't bring my bunny ears. How many people are going to some of the parades that are happening downtown? It's going to be fun today. You know, you live in a wild city. Have you forgotten that? I know there's the Chris Owens parade, which this woman, I mean, my goodness. If you're not from New Orleans, just pardon us for a moment. We're having a New Orleans discussion, which means you have to come and visit to learn about these things, because there's a lot of interesting, bizarre things here in New Orleans. But we welcome everybody on Facebook, and thank you once again for joining us. So sit back and relax. So Chris Owens, I mean, everybody know who Chris Owens is? Okay. Her age remains a mystery. I've heard everything from 80s to 90 to 106. Who knows? But she's one of the icons of the French Quarter. And the story goes that she wanted to be a dancer at some time, 10s or the 20s or the 30s at some point and really wasn't that great. So she found her a gentleman caller who had the funds, and so he just bought her the whole block and turned it into the Chris Owens Club. She didn't have to audition ever again for the rest of her life. It's still there today, and she still does shows. And even at her age, she still does a fundraiser, which I think is amazing. She does a fundraiser for various charities today. That's one of the parades. There's also the world-famous gay parade with the Easter bonnet competition, so you can imagine the craziness of that. And there's one more, too. I think that's a little more family-oriented. But here in New Orleans and Metairie, we know how to have a wonderful party and turn Easter even into a party. So it is a special day for people all around the world. This is called Holy Week, as you may have heard mentioned every now and then. And it is symbolic, reminding us of the story of Jesus' story at the end of his life and then of his resurrection. And of course, at Unity, we look at things sometimes a little bit differently than how some of us were taught when we were younger. And I know for me now, I choose to focus on the resurrection. We know that the crucifixion happened, and I believe that's symbolic of us, that we literally crucify ourselves every day by refusing to acknowledge our greatness and our divinity and our wonderfulness. I mean, the Bible clearly says we're created in the image and likeness of God, so you're pretty special and pretty great. But yet we literally crucify ourselves by refusing to acknowledge that and believing another false belief system. So I choose to focus on the resurrection. That's what the talk about today is, rise up. Rise up to the truth of who we are. And this is a journey for most of us. So when I say rise up, we're probably not going to hear this talk, and me, myself even, and saying this talk, we're not going to get up totally enlightened and awakened and do cartwheels out in the parking lot. This is a journey for all of us. But we are here to remind each other through coming to a group like this or through our conversations. We're here to remind each other of our magnificence. I love that thought. And we mirror that to each other. So, you know, it's kind of funny. I think that Easter is one of those days like Christmas that in more traditional churches, it's the only day that some people actually go. You know, some of my friends that are ministers at more traditional churches, they say, oh, we just love Christmas Sunday and Easter Sunday because they bring everybody, the grandmamas and the aunts and the, you know, and unfortunately they have guilt and shame to collect the offering, which we don't have. So, you know, you have to be here because you want to be. But on today, I'm sure there are places just packed out with people with the big bonnets and the hats. How many people went to a church where it was like a tradition, especially for the women? They really dressed up, and there was kind of this unsaid competition about these big old huge honking hats. It's hysterical. There's actually a book called, I think it's called Crowns, and it's a whole documentary of pictures of books about the history of these hats and how women wore these enormous, enormous hats or these Easter bonnets. And so, we're not going to take time to do our world's religions today because we're going to have this Easter lily ceremony shortly, but I would just take a moment knowing that to bless everyone, wherever they are today, in every church, in every synagogue, in every mosque, and every sanctuary, even if they're with St. Mattress today, we bless them because we know that church is not a place, church is not a building, church is not a sign, church is within us. Church is the ever-evolving self that we are as we remember who we are as children of God. And so we take a moment and just bless. Let's just actually take a moment of stillness and just bless everyone around us and every type of church they may be in the radius here in Metairie and all throughout this area. Let's just take a moment and send that blessing of love out to everyone. Thank you, God, to know that this awakening is happening everywhere. See, I used to have this false crazy idea. I realize now that it's really insane. When I first found all these new ideas that we call like new thought, or, you know, you've heard different ways it's talked about, you know, Oprah talks about it and all these people talk about it, they use different words. New thought is the one that I know the most. And when I first found these teachings, I felt a sense of arrogance. I mean, I have to be honest, I did. And I had kind of a thought that one day everybody else will believe the truth like I do. Isn't that crazy? But I really thought that. And then I thought, wow, I'm just like some of my friends from my other former church, that said, you got to believe like us or you're going to hell. But I'm glad to have let go of that idea. Do you understand what I'm saying? I thought that this sounds really arrogant, but I thought that we were kind of advanced and were enlightened and we knew how to live and we knew the secret to life. And one day all the other churches were going to catch up and they would be here in our building. And I laugh at the thought of that now. That is just ludicrous and hysterical. And I'm so glad that I let that go, because awakening, and what I mean by awakening is just simply that when our mind begins to rise up and awaken from the tomb and see ourselves as God sees us, and we let go of our sick, limited ideas of ourselves that have been taught to us by others and that we place upon ourselves, and we awaken to this truth. And this awakening is happening everywhere, in every religion, and every church today. There are people that are sitting there today, their beliefs may be not exactly as yours, because everybody in this room probably has even a different belief about the nature of God, but awakening is happening. Think about Mother Teresa. She was as Catholic as they come, and sister, she was awake. There is, and what I mean by awake is that she saw people for who they were. She saw the divinity. She used to say, I don't see poor people. I see the face of Christ in all of its disguises. That is an awakened person. There's T-shirts in the Quarter, and I can't use the exact word that they have, but I'll tame it down a little bit. And I love this T-shirt. It says, Mother Teresa didn't worry about the size of her thighs. She had stuff to do. I just love that. It's so random and strange. Just think about it. I just love it. You'll get it later. And I saw it actually on a purse too, and some T-shirts. But this awakening is happening everywhere. So we bless this as this global awakening of consciousness continues. And if you're afraid of how things are looking in the world right now, because I hear people talking about, I'm afraid things are falling apart. Believe me, that's a good sign. Because things literally have to fall apart and be crucified. The old way has to be crucified before something new can emerge. And what I see in the world is exciting. I see that all these old ways don't serve us anymore, and we're trying to fit, as the scriptures say, fit new wine in these old wine bottles, and it just doesn't work. And so what results from that is a lot of chaos, but something beautiful is being born. And I love that. It's very, very exciting. So get all excited if you're scared. It's a good thing. If you see the chaos, be excited. Know that there's something awesome. If you're a mother, how many have had children before? So you know that point when, and I have no idea what it's like, but that point when it's happening, you're probably like, why did I do this? I want to resign. And it's just too late, and there's this big chaotic thing happens. But then there comes the baby, and you're like, oh, it was so worth it. Hopefully you said that. Hopefully that was your response. And then what is born out of that is something beautiful. So that's what happens sometimes in the pain that we're going through. I once had kidney stones, and they were so bad I had to go in the hospital. And the reason I'm saying that is just a random thought, but the nurses that were women that had children told me, oh my God, I had children and I also had kidney stones, and I would rather have triplets than a kidney stone. And I thought, well, thanks a lot. That makes me feel really good in the condition that I'm in right now. So, nothing results from after the kidney stone is born. So I wanted to read something from one of our founders, Charles Fillmore, and it was also, not this exact quote, but Charles Fillmore was also quoted in the Daily Word. And if you're new and don't know anything about Unity, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore were the founders of Unity. They weren't trying to start anything. They were just awakened, and people loved them, and they flocked to them and said, tell us why your life is so wonderful. Why are you so healthy? Why are you smiling all the time? Why are you glowing? And that's how Unity kind of began. That's kind of like a stilted version of it. And so Charles Fillmore said this. And by the way, this was the late 1800s when they began this movement, you might say. Charles Fillmore said one of the most beautiful Easter quotes I've ever heard. He said, today, the light of truth is illuminating my mind. Today, the light of truth is illuminating my mind, and I rise up in the majesty of my divinity, proclaiming myself to be the child of the Most High, free from all belief in sin, sickness, and death. In unity with my Christ self, I am resurrected into the life, light, and power of God. Just so beautiful and so powerful. And some of you may have saw yesterday, I've been doing some live posts on our Facebook page. When I was finishing up getting the service ready yesterday, I sat down and said, I'm just going to talk with everybody, and just went live on Facebook and just kind of rambled on. And I happened to have this quote, and I remember saying it, as I was doing this live thing, and I just began to feel it and embody it. And sometimes we say words and they just kind of fly through us, Have you ever read something and go, and then when you're really ready to hear it, you read it again and it just floods your soul with this sense of wonderment? I've been reading A Course in Miracles for 25 years, and sometimes I will read a section that I know that I've read before because it's highlighted, and I think, I've never read that before. The difference is I'm ready to hear it at that point. And that's what happened when I read this. It just overcame me. Today, not tomorrow, not next week, not whenever I'm enlightened or whatever, when I'm awake. Today, the light of truth is illuminating my mind. And I just felt that so strongly. And I rise up in the majesty of my divinity. Wow, such powerful words to be saying on Easter. Couple of things. I have a quick video of our, no, look, we're going to skip the video today because I don't want to go on. But I have a really great video by the Oprah, by the O. We'll save it for another time because I don't want us to run over, because I know a lot of you have, we have our lunch bunch today and others are going to see family. So we'll hold off on that. There are a couple of slides and pictures and some quotes. So can we go to those, please, Mr. Everett? Let's go to the next one, and we're going to come back to this one. There should be another one right next to it. I love this. This has to do with what I'm talking about, letting go and dying to our old self. This is Joseph Campbell, follow your bliss guy. He said, we must be willing to let go of the life we've planned to have the life that is waiting for us. I love that. Because how many times have we planned with our little lives and our little selves? We plan out of fear how we're going to defend ourselves and how we're going to make money and how we're going to take care of this and how we're going to take care of that. We have to let all of that go. We have to let go of the life we've planned to have the life that is waiting for us. There is something magnificent and wonderful waiting to be birthed within you if you allow your mind to rise up and accept it. Now, that's different for everybody. Not everybody's supposed to be a superstar, or not everybody's supposed to, sometimes we look at worldly things and think that's my big goal. But many of us, I know for myself, I now find joy at this age in the tiniest of little things. Just little things. When I was in my 20s, I would have totally ignored. And I see the smallest of things. Like I go out in the courtyard and I see like a flower blooming, and it just occurs to me, oh my God, just yesterday, that was this little wadded up particle, and now it's like burst out into this beautiful expression of life. When I was 20 years old, I would have rushed past that, going to the gym and to grab a beer. And now I'll sit there for 20 minutes and look at that. And so the point being is that it may not be a grand thing, life that is waiting for you. It is the thing that you are here to do that brings you the most joy, that when you come in service to those around you. And it may be something that to the world looks really small, but we cannot judge what happens whenever we step into our power and we give our gift to the world. We can't judge the results of that and who it affects and how it affects them and how beautiful it is. We can't do that. So I just love this idea. You've probably seen the bumper sticker that says, we make plans, God laughs. That's what this kind of reminds me of. We have to die to, I'm adding that in, we have to die to this life that we have planned with our little, small, limited mind to step into the life that is waiting for us. And in the meantime, We have to be, this is the balance, this is sometimes the challenge for some of us. We also still have to stay planted squarely in the now, grateful for what is being expressed in this moment, knowing that the greatest and highest version of ourselves is continually being expressed. We can't use this quote to live in the future. That's not what this is about. This is just reminding us that we have to let go. We have to literally die to some of these little tiny, small, ridiculous thoughts about ourselves. And this other one, so we can go back to the other one, Howard Thurman. This is one of my favorite top 10 quotes of all of time. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive. What makes you come alive when you think about it? What event, what career, what relationship makes you come alive inside that makes you want to jump up in the morning and be so excited that you can't stand it? That's what you're supposed to be doing, because that's what the world needs from us. It needs people that have come alive. Amen. Hallelujah. Start preaching like my Pentecostal daddy. I was thinking of my parents last night, and I wanted to take a moment as we're going to start moving into our lily ceremony. And I just love, I wish Annabelle was here today because she was instrumental in getting all these beautiful flowers. And they bloomed just perfectly. I've been worried like all week because they were these little, little nubbins. I don't know. I guess that's the technical term, nubbins. And I noticed yesterday when I was here setting up, all these blooms came out. And I said, how beautiful and perfect that it is. And I got one of these for my parents and in their memory, and I wanted to take a moment to honor them because last night when I was just preparing and doing my little Saturday night ritual that I do getting ready for church, it just popped out of my mind. Remember how we used to watch the Ten Commandments when I was little with my parents? The Ten Commandments has been playing on Sunday night I read this, Googled it, for like 52 years or something. Every Sunday night without fail on the Saturday before Easter, the Ten Commandments has played. Now, somebody, and then I posted something on Facebook about it because I was eating ice cream. And I said, I'm here thinking about my parents eating ice cream and having the memory of watching this with them. And then somebody asked in the comments, said like, what does the Ten Commandments have to do with Easter? And I was like, I haven't a clue. Oh, it's Passover season. Right. So, like they say here in New Orleans, if you didn't get it this time, they just passed you over. I don't know why that's tickling me so much, but it is. But I had this wonderful memory last night because my parents would either take me to get a hamburger or some junk food that I liked, or a pizza, and we would all three, my mom and dad and me, because my sisters were much older, had already moved out of the house, we would sit and watch the Ten Commandments together, and we did this my entire life until I moved out to go to college. And I sat there with and I was literally eating ice cream. I love this Millennium Crunch that Bluebell makes. Oh my God, it's unbelievably good. And I'm not even a big ice cream fan, but Millennium Crunch, make a note and go try it. Don't get a gallon because you'll eat the whole thing. So I'm sitting there and I'm posting it, and I was thinking about my parents, and this gratitude just welled up in me for my parents and for my life being exactly as it should have been. My parents had very different beliefs than I have, but the thing that bonded us was they loved me unconditionally, and I loved them unconditionally. And we found a place to meet in the middle, especially my mom later in her life. Even after being a Pentecostal minister, she went to the Center for Spiritual Living and saw a big thing where they lit candles about Buddha. And I watched her thinking, was she going to explode and run out? But she was just, amen, hallelujah, thank you, Buddha, Which that was a long way from where I'd come. And I just felt this overwhelming sense of gratitude. And I actually watched the whole thing. It's long. The Ten Commandments is really a long movie. And I kind of was amazed at how good it looks. It was filmed in 1955 and 56 and came out in 56. I wasn't even born yet. Really, I wasn't. I'm not trying to make a joke. I really wasn't born yet. And I thought, wow, it actually looks good. And so these memories welled up for me. And maybe for you, there's a special Easter memory. Is there something that you think of maybe that Because I know many of us weren't brought up in Christian tradition, so maybe you didn't even have an Easter, but you're in a cultural place that celebrates Easter, so there's got to be some memory that you might have of Easter. How many people got Easter baskets in the morning or something? So most everybody. Did you get all excited, almost like Christmas, to see what the Easter Bunny brought? I was a weird little kid, Nicole, because I liked white chocolate. And back in those days, there wasn't a lot of white chocolate, and my mom would search high and low. There was no Walmart, but Kmart. She would search high and low in Kmart. We're having a walk down memory lane. Remember Kmart? To find me something made out of white chocolate. And I was sitting there eating that ice cream and just filled with so much love, because this is a special time for me and for all of us. This is Holy Week. And my message today is for all of us, wherever we are, whatever religion we are, whatever we identify with, may we all continue to remember, may our minds awaken, may we rise up, may we know that we are special and we are beautiful and we are holy children of God. That is the message of Easter. And it all happens here in our mind and then eventually moves to our heart, because we can know things and know them well, but sometimes there's a long journey from the head to the heart to where we actually are embodying those thoughts and those ideas. So that is my prayer for all of us, that we continue that journey through our spiritual practice or whatever Spirit guides us to do, to continue to just begin to embody this divinity that is ours. Just as Charles Fillmore said today, that he illuminated my mind, I rise up in the majesty of my divinity. So we have these beautiful lilies, and once again, thanks to Annabelle for her diligence in finding these lilies. Quite a few people purchased lilies that they're going to take home with them today, and got them in memory or honor of loved ones. And there were a couple people actually that asked me, the little bulletin has already been printed, but there still is, I think there's 1 or 2 lilies left. And there's a couple of, I think Morgan had said, so when we get to that part, I'm just going to have you say the person's name, okay? Because we're going to take a moment and honor the names, and David's passing out the bulletin here, and you're welcome to take this home with you if you would like, if especially if you have a name, excuse me, a name on it here, and I'm going to DJ just for a moment. That was not it. We're not going to have a dance party, at least not yet. And in addition to Morgan, if anyone else, like I said, I believe we have 1, maybe 2 left. If you would like to include that another name and take the lily with you, it's just $15 a piece. If you would like to still be included, there's time for that, and we can just say those names aloud. So what I decided to put on here, every year we do this as a tradition, and a quote that came to me, on this blessed day, may we remember our eternal nature as children of God. And the reason I put eternal nature, because in this situation, it's so important to, especially for those in memory of, it's so important to remember that they haven't gone anywhere. We're remembering them not because they've died, just because they're just not with us present. And go ahead and put our candles back on, please. And so on this blessed day, may we remember our eternal nature as children of God. So before we start this, in addition to Morgan, is there anyone else that would like to add? Okay, Troy, so when we get to the end, I'm going to have you, if you wouldn't mind, you can just stand up and say whosever name you would like in memory or honor of, so that we can hear it. Actually, let's really plan this. Steve, would you help me out? We're going to do this. So when the time comes, would you take this to Troy and then to Morgan so we can hear it and people online? And if you're watching this online today, just soak in this special time and hope that you can feel this presence and love that we feel here in this space. And I hope I pronounced some of these names correctly, so please forgive me if not. So in memory of Hazel and Joe Rice, this is from Kathy and Andy Peterson, who couldn't be here with us today, but wanted to make sure to have these lilies for them. Also from Kathy and Andy Peterson, in memory of Elsie and Hafton Peterson. From Carla Scott, in memory of John Brogdon. In memory of Christine Scott, from Ken Scott. In memory of Reverend Jack C. Fowler and Reverend Cora H. Fowler, from Jack Fowler. In memory of Gene Harrison, from his daughter Darlene. I love this one. In memory of Classy Mae Williams, from Tony Bowden. That was your mother, correct? I love that name. In memory of Enrique and Miriam Gutierrez, from Rick Gutierrez. In memory of Jeremy Montgomery, from Crystal Montgomery, who is his sister, one of our board members and beautiful parts of our community. Mina Chander says, in memory of my parents. In memory of Aunt Louise, from Ken Mitchell. In memory of Raymond Barong, from Joan Putzka. In memory of Jane Kelly, from Celeste Kelly. And would you please go over to Troy and he can give that name.
In memory of my grandparents, August and Florence Wagasback.
Wonderful. And then Morgan in the back, please.
In memory of Norma Teresa Chasson, my mother-in-law.
Beautiful, thank you. So once again, let's just take a moment to be still as we remember not only the ones on this list, but for those in our life that have been an inspiration to us, that have touched us. Those beautiful memories of those that have crossed our paths. On this day especially, for anyone that has left their body and not with us anymore, may we continue to allow them to rise up within our mind and realize, as Jesus said on the message, so powerful this day of his resurrection, the message that there is no death, plain and simple. We don't quite understand exactly what happens, but we know that life is ongoing and eternal. And we know that everyone on this list and other loved ones that we remember are with us in spirit. And that everyone that has crossed our path has been there perfectly, exactly when we needed them to be there. And so for this, we are grateful for our eternal, ongoing nature. And we are grateful for this beloved, magnificent force that is always guiding us. Not only this Holy Week, but in every second of our life if we only choose to listen. So we're grateful for the message of Jesus that showed us not only that we can give love, but that we are love itself. And for the powerful message that there is no death, as he exemplified through the powerful resurrection. The tomb is empty. All thoughts of limitation and doubt and worry and fear are gone. They have been put away. The tomb is empty, and we arise from this tomb, rising up into our magnificence as beautiful expressions of life. You are the beloved. You are always guided. You are always protected, held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. This is the truth about you, and this is the truth about me on this special Easter morning. And so it is. Amen. Reminder once again that those that have purchased the lilies, you're welcome to come pick out whichever one you'd like to take with you and take it home to have and do whatever you may. They actually grow. I've planted them and they'll grow out in your yard. So thank you once again, everyone, for spending time with us on this Easter morning. And we thank everyone that's watching us today online. May you also have a blessed Easter. As we come to the part of our service where we give to our magnificent spiritual community, knowing that we are abundant. We know that as we give, it is given back to us. There is an eternal flow of life, of love in this world. And so we give with a grateful and open heart, with gratitude. Grateful, grateful. We are so grateful, not only for what we have, but who we are. May we rise up to remember this fully and completely. Anyone that's watching us today, if you would like to support us, you can simply look at the post right below what you're watching in the streaming, and you can securely and easily give there with one easy and secure link. And if anyone would like to give electronically, you can meet David in the Welcome Center, and he can take that from you there if you want to give with a credit card. So we take a moment just feeling the gratitude of knowing who we are, children of the Most High, knowing that there is plenty for us as our inheritance. So we give with a big, grateful, open heart, saying, thank you, God. If you prefer to stay seated, we do have an usher that can meet you where you are, and we're happy to just meet you there if you'd like to give that way. So let's give today. It's kind of hard to see the little chest there, but that's where we drop our offering. And we'll continue with our affirmations again next week. But this week, you can drop your offering here. Actually, we're putting in the Easter basket. Is that what we're doing? Okay. So you have your choice. You can do the Easter basket or the chest. And David, I'm realizing too, if anyone would like to give with credit card, you can meet us after the service because I'll have to initiate something. So if anyone would like to give with a card, please meet us in the Welcome Center after the service, and Dave and I can help take care of that. So we give today singing our song of gratitude, grateful, grateful, I am grateful. And we thank everyone that gives to support our spiritual community. Grateful, grateful, I am grateful for all that I have, all that I am grateful, I am grateful. And Bear will be giving a milk bone. Grateful, grateful, I am grateful for all that I have, all that I am grateful, I am grateful. You could also say thankful, 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 I am thankful for all that I have, all that I am grateful, I am thankful. And once again, grateful together. Grateful, grateful, I am grateful for all that I have, all that I am grateful, I am grateful. Once again, we're grateful to everyone that supports our spiritual community. And we thank everyone that watches us online as Our global community continues to grow, and we have more watching us from all over the world. Thank you for tuning in today, which is an old word. We used to talk about television. Young people don't know what tuning means, but thank you for tuning in today, and thank you for supporting and giving as well. We appreciate everyone that gives of themselves to keep our church running and going. So just a few announcements before we head out into the day. I hope you have wonderful plans. It is gorgeous outside. I mean, just absolutely gorgeous. As many of you know, we have our Wednesday night faith lift. Every Wednesday night at 6 p.m., we have a meditation where we spend an entire hour going into the stillness with some music and some guided words and then actually silence. It's a great time to get recentered in the middle of the week. Right after that, I facilitate a discussion on A Course in Miracles, which has helped millions of people on their spiritual path. So no experience is necessary for either one of those. You're welcome to join us wherever you are on your spiritual journey. We are we're going back to having our movie night. It's only going to be quarterly, but it's coming up. May 3rd, put this in your calendar, May 3rd at 7 p.m. That is on a Friday night. We will be showing Awake, which is, talk about awake. We're talking about that a lot today. This is the story of Yogananda. It is one of the most beautifully made stories of a spiritual master I have ever seen. If you're not familiar with Yogananda, he is the one that came from India and basically introduced yoga and meditation to the West. He seemed to be fully awake and even said he remembered being in his mother's womb. When Steve Jobs passed, the founder of Apple, a huge influencer in our culture, when he passed, the only iBook in his iPad was Autobiography of a Yogi, which was the autobiography written by this man, Yogananda. He practiced it fully and committed to. So this story is so powerful, and it's a beautifully made movie. So join us for some popcorn and some fun and some fellowship. May 3rd. Also, we continue to give to Second Harvest Food Bank. So continue to bring anything in, any non-perishable items, or you're at the grocery store, pick up some beans or rice or whatever. And at the end of the month, we'll be taking that to those that may be hungry. We love giving back to our community. Tell us where we're doing lunch bunch today. Out back on Severn. So if you want to join us for lunch, you don't have plans already, and were you able to call ahead and maybe get some reservations? All right, Sam. I was going to say they're probably full, but Sam, our fearless lunch bunch leader, called ahead and got that taken care of. So join us for that. We'll be meeting there probably about 20 or 30 minutes after service is over. We do have a few daily words left. They're marked down to just $2 from $5 now because a few weeks left. Oh, there's a few. I think there's a few daily words. Are there none? Yeah, there's a few. So if you want to still get a few weeks in, this is our daily dose of inspiration, like you heard Tony read today. We have a few left. We have new ones coming out in May. So anything else that anyone can think of? I think that's just about it. Everett, I'm going to ask you, and it's great to see Everett and the whole clan back there today, y'all. Give it up. And Todd, so much appreciate his help in keeping our streaming going and all the work he does for that. I'm eternally grateful for that. So Everett, I was going to ask you that at the end of the service, will you play the CD that's in that has the pre-service music, because we'll be using my phone elsewhere. So before we head out, once again, thank you for joining us on this beautiful Easter morning. We're going to head out saying our prayer of protection together. Just another reminder, everyone watching us, you can give easily on Facebook. And if you want to give with a credit card today, just meet us in the Welcome Center immediately after service, and we can take that from you there. And thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I do love you hard, 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 I swear to God. So let's say our prayer of protection today together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Connection, a simple love and touch. My religion is kindness. My church is nature. My God is a feeling. It lives deep inside. My job is to be conscious. My path is forgiveness. My religion is kindness, and I practice it every day. Every day. Today I'm gonna ask myself, what more can I do? What can I do now? To be a radiant child of God and let my love shine through. I'm gonna let my heart be my guide to give the best of me. I'm Gonna share my joy, share my love, give it boundlessly. My religion is kindness, my church is nature, my God is a feeling that lives deep inside. My job is to be conscious, my path is forgiveness, my religion is kindness, and I practice it every day. Yeah. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Then Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came running after. She said, Jack, tell me, what can I do to help ease your mind? He said, hold my hand and just be kind, and I know I'll be